Well, let's start the news, and let's start from the sector, the energy sector. And government has returned to the negotiating table with power company Ameri, with Energy Minister John Peter Ameri assuring government is committed to paying debt due the company in excess of some $80 million. This position is a sharp departure from the one held by former Energy Minister Boakye Agyarko that saw government default in its commitment to the company, forcing a threat of legal action. Well, we also know that Mr. Ameri, while touring some power plants, told journalists that the aim of government is to have all plants up and running to ensure there's power supply and also stability in the sector.
The energy minister, accompanied by top officials of the ministry, had their Sogli thermal plant as their first port of call. The plant, which is operated largely by Chinese nationals, had its top managers meet the minister to brief him on the state of their operations. Mr. Ameri was concerned about the lack of Ghanaian representation in the company's top management.
So we expect that you begin to carry some of the Ghanaians along, because the joy of investment is also a joy of leaving something behind. If after 20, 30, 45 years, soon as Sogli is no longer here, you will be happy to say that these are the Ghanaians that we left behind to do that. So subsequent arrangements, I want to see how you bring Ghanaians, to the highest level of management. And that will be a credit to you, and also the government will also be extremely happy.
Mr. Ameri assured of government's commitment of ensuring availability of gas for the company's operations.
So this project of bringing at least 70 to 80, scout from Takoradi to Tema, I think is going to help, most of the power plants here. We will ask for your collaborations and also for assistance to make sure that these things are done and done very promptly.
The minister also visited Sen Power Generation Company Limited. The company, which is largely Ghanaian-owned, hopes to start operations by November 2018. Mr. Ameri, speaking to pressmen on plans to ensure stable supply of power, said government will honor its obligations, including what is due Ameri.
Definitely, government is examining the conditions, and as and when time is right, we'll let Ghanaians know exactly what is. But it's looking good.
Are we paying our debts?
I mean, this government is noted for paying debt, so yes, I'm sure we should be able to do that.
The Energy Ministry is meanwhile concerned about erratic supply of gas from Nigeria through the West African gas pipeline. An option under consideration is to have gas from petroleum company ENI's operation in Takoradi supplied to plants in Tema.
Now, the Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation says proper mining measures will be adopted to ensure destruction is eliminated. According to the Sector Minister, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng, the assurance is in response to civil society concerns about extraction of minerals and its negative impact on the country's forest reserve. It comes as government finalizes arrangements to cede part of Ghana's bauxite deposits to Chinese investors in exchange for infrastructure projects. Here's what Prince Apia learned about it.
Residents of Ninehini, chiefs and other stakeholders met the leadership of the Chumampunia district on development in the area. The theme of the town hall meeting was deepening understanding for jobs and wealth creation through Ghana's natural resources. Questions ranging from electricity, education, sports, and ultimately mining in the area. The Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng, says government is concerned about the environment as the new bauxite agreement with China investors begins soon.
We are taking all the measures to make sure that the environment is not degraded and that we mine sustainably. Bauxite is different from gold mining. The bauxite will be processed into alumina and then alumina to aluminium. And so it's an integrated project that will make sure that we get the returns for our investment and also that we benefit from it as a nation and as a community.
What has been the engagement with the community regards the...
This is part of it. You know, this town hall meeting is part of the engagement, and we're going to do this probably on a regular basis and very often so that we all know exactly what we're going to do.
Last year, residents demonstrated against the mining of bauxite in the Yinehini Forest Reserve by indigenous firm Exin Quebec Group. Professor Frimpong Boateng says the arrangement with China's Sino Hydro will improve economic fortunes of local people.
And in my ministry, we are very interested in it. We are going to make sure that we develop the skills and so that we're able to exploit our natural resources for our national benefit, our own benefit, yes. No, I will not be able to tell you exactly when it will start, but pretty soon. We are interested in it. We wanted to start even yesterday. Yeah.
The district chief executive of the area, Williams Yao Dakun, says the mining of the bauxite concession in the area will be critical to the development of its people.
So everybody in Ghana here knows that Achimamponwa is endowed with bauxite, and soon and very soon the government is putting things in place to come and exploit the bauxite so that the youth in the Mponwa will also get their job. So the government, as you know, will never do something that will hurt the citizens of the district. It's going to do things that will help us, that will benefit us, that will help people to get more job to do.
Prince Apia reporting.
Well, let's move on. And the Economic Fighters League says it will petition government on the high rate of youth unemployment in Ghana. According to its leader, Ernesto Yeboah, the group is collating data at the regional level on the number of jobless youth to present to government. Mr. Yeboah was speaking to the media after a protest march in Accra that failed to attract the kind of numbers they had anticipated.
These are the chants of the members of the Economic Fighters League who took to the streets to demonstrate against the lack of jobs for young people in the country. They accused government of creating ghost jobs. In Ghana, it is estimated that a sizable number of the youth are unemployed.
More often than not, would hear government spokespersons come out banding figures around, figures nobody can ever relate to it. In fact, just yesterday I heard the Labour Relations Minister say that they have employed 1 million people. None of my family members who are unemployed have had, are part of this 1 million. Now, and it appears to us that the political leadership of this country is only interested in creating ghost jobs. Now what we are looking out for are real jobs for real people. So in every region, we are simply saying that if you need a job, come and write your name and let us process. At the end of the day, it becomes the basis on which we will cry for jobs.
Some participants of the demonstration expressed their dissatisfaction with the government preferring solutions to the unemployment situation in the country.
Very difficult in Ghana living without a job. At least you wake up, you have a lot of things to do. It's all about money. You have to find something to do. And through this exercise, I expect at least the government to do something about it, for us to at least to get something to do and then something in our lives.
Lack of prudent management of our resources. When you go to other countries, like United Arab Emirates, they don't pay income tax, but they are managing their resources prudently. So their people are enjoying from it. And that is what we also want from this nation, that our government that is sleeping now must wake up. Yes. Let the government wake up and find jobs for our jobless youth.
As a member, what are your expectations from the procession?
Okay, so at the end of the day, what we seek to achieve is to let the people, powers that be, know that the youth of Ghana are sick and tired of being home, looking for a job. They want a secure job.
With unemployment rates said to be escalating daily, young people like those gathered to demonstrate are getting desperate for jobs.
Young people, and why are they stealing our resources?
Now, the Ghana Police Service will soon withdraw all escort and security guard services rendered to private individuals and groups to allow private security operators to take up those jobs. This was revealed at a meeting between the Ghana Police Service and the Association of Private Security Operators here in Ghana. Kingsley Otu learned this.
A legislative instrument of 1992 established the operations of private security companies to augment government efforts of providing security in the country. In February 2017, a directorate was established at the Ghana Police Service to oversee and regulate the activities of these private security companies. The Director General of Private Security Operations, DCOP Edward Tabri, said the police service will act in accordance with best practices, explaining police guard and escorts will be provided to only those who deserve it.
People who occupy certain positions, who may now be enjoying the services of police guards and escorts, are no more going to enjoy. It's categorized, and we make sure those who deserve, and that's the best practice we have in the world. Not everybody has security for himself coming from the central government, that's the police institution. So the private security should now tap into that.
He said from November 1, the Ghana Police Service will clamp down on all private security companies who fail to wear the legally approved uniforms for their operations.
November 1st, where we are going to enforce strictly the wearing of one or two of the uniforms these PSOs have adopted. At least 1 year is too much or too adequate for people to get their acts together and then conform to the wearing of this particular selected uniform, so that you and I will be able to figure out who is flouting the rules. IGP says, look, you are complementing the effort of the police in providing security for the people. Let us see you openly doing that in a very, decent manner.
To deal with the unscrupulous elements who get recruited into private security companies, Shadrach Mensah, who spoke on behalf of the Interior Minister, said the ministry is in collaboration with the police and the Association of Private Security Operators to establish a database that will provide a pool of licensed security officers from which the security personnel will be recruited.
In order for us to create a comprehensive database for these private security guards, what we are going to do is this. Those individuals who wanted to be employed by private security organizations have to enroll on a short course of which police, in collaboration with association, is going to provide. That training would include their background checks and all the necessary checks to clear them on security, as well as providing them with the basic security training.
Kingsley Otu's report for JoyNews.
And before we go, it turns out President Akufo-Addo's mantra of being in a hurry may be costing the education minister his nap. From free SHS through the double-track system to the new curriculum for basic schools and teacher trainees licensure examinations, all running in the educational sector, the Minister of Education must be under a lot of pressure. And the Minister of Education, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, speaking at the Jolly Phonics conference here in Accra, admitted the introduction of new policies and the restructuring going on in the education sector is depriving him of his beauty sleep.
Education is so important for this country and so important as a vision of the president that every time he meets me, he would ask a question about education that astounds me. The last time we met, not the last time we met, he said, "What are you doing for teachers?" So this thing, Napo, if we don't do something for teachers, we won't make headway. That was the president. The next time he said, "This language thing, what is it about?" The other time it was, "This curriculum, when are you going to finish?" So every time, right? Every time. Four big goals. We have to revive or reform the curriculum to deal with the 21st century issues. And the curriculum move, the pupil curriculum and the teacher reform curriculum. We have to take technical and vocational education seriously. We have to do free SHS and now double track. And we have to look at tertiary education in opening up for more pupils, especially the poor and the vulnerable. 4 big issues. It keeps me sleepless. And I'm always awake.
Well, already government is set to roll out a new method of teaching in public basic schools across the country. And of course, the method is known as Jolly Phonics. We discussed that yesterday. It will enable teachers in kindergarten and lower primary improve the literacy skills of children. And it's all through the use of sounds. Just think about it. Phonics. That's a good one. Could you?
Yes, it's time for us to
you learned phonics. You learned phonics while in school?
Yes, indeed. And I guess it's time for us to also make some jolly phonics of our own for the next couple of hours on the AM show. Stay with us till 9. Coming up next is a newspaper review.